품은 자연과 활기찬 도시의 일상이 예술이 되고 영감이 되는 곳. 부산이라는 거대한 도화지 위에서 창의력이 피어나고 상상력이 자라납니다. 예술로 생각이 자라는 도시, 예술도시 부산. 이 캠페인은 창의적 사고로 예술을 키우는 동서대학교 앵커사업단과 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
The beautiful landscapes, the beach, the delicious food, I love Tojikukbab, are some of the many things that make Busan a great city to live in. But it is the multicultural society and the warmth of its people that make Busan a really dynamic city. Hola amigos, my name is Jonathan Badillo and I am from Mexico. I arrived to Korea 3 years ago with a one-way ticket and now I study my master's degree at Busan National University. I fell in love with Busan way before even moving here. It all began with a weekend trip for me to realize this was the city where I wanted to live in. I moved here and I realized it was the right decision. From the moment I arrived to Busan, I felt very welcome and as if I was a Busan Saram already. Busan Saram, my God! There is so much going on in this dynamic city that it is so easy to get involved in one of the many activities to promote cultural exchange in Busan. I firmly believe that the greatness of a city lies within its people, which is what makes Busan the greatest city to live in. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign was brought to you by BFM Busan 영어방송.
AI는 무엇이든 척척 만들잖아요. 그런데 AI가 되살릴 수 없는 소리도 있대요. 사라지면 다시 살릴 수 없는 대한민국의 푸른 자연을 지켜주세요. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Last Friday was D-Day, the D meaning Decision Day or maybe Divorce Settlement Day. The Seoul High Court ordered SK Group Chairman Choi Tae-won to pay 944 billion won to his former wife, Noso영에, in the country's most expensive divorce on record, ending a years-long, almost decade-long legal battle. Technically, either side could still take the case to the Supreme Court. However, the top court only reviews points of law and it doesn't re-examine the facts. So the ruling is likely to stand unless there is a legal error found. From wedding of the century to divorce of the century, is this the end of this very long saga? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Monday, July 27th on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. It is Monday morning once again. We're going to kick off the week together. Well, I did begin the story, the morning with a story regarding that divorce settlement case. And it's a pertinent story because it does affect one of the biggest companies in Korea right now. Anyhow, we'll get into the details of that later on in top stories. In the meantime, it is time for our text topic. So, what is something that you have stopped or quit doing and you feel really good about this? 자, 내가 최근에 그만둔 것 혹은 그만두기 잘했다 하는 것은 what might it be? It might be a relationship, like her opening story. It might be a habit. It might be anything that is really toxic to you, whether it is, once again, in the form of a relationship or something that you were doing and you're like, this is not good for me. So I want to hear all about it. Send in your thoughts, your stories to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM or Busan 영어 방송 to find our channel. And then you can subscribe, log in, and chat with other waivers from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me free of charge on Kakao Talk. Same thing there. You got to find our account. So enter BEFM or Busan 영어 방송 to find our account. Add us as a friend, and then you can be on your way, sending us your messages and photos as well. You can tune in to Morning Wave in Busan through the radio. Here in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. Like I said, we're streaming live on YouTube right now. Come check us out. We're also available on the BEFM app and also the Papang app too. Here is a lineup for Monday morning. Here we go. The local news. That's in Now in Busan with Jian coming up real soon. We have Haley with top stories. In hour number 2, we have our special segment that is continuing. That is Heritage Trails as we go over UNESCO heritage sites here in Korea. Once again, in honor of Busan hosting the UNESCO World Heritage Committee session. Also, we have Dr. Ryu Sang-hyo coming in for Ask Dr. Ryu. And then today in hour number 2, instead of Buzz Breakdown while Vasana's away, we have the AI Breakdown with Choi Jae-yu. That is coming up. So let's be very welcoming. That's in hour number 2. And for now, by the way, our special interview, we are going to talk about South Korea and, of course, Trump's new tariff plans. What is next? Because there are so many question marks. We have question mark after question mark. We just don't know. Well, we're going to get an expert's take on what might happen. That is coming up in hour number 2 as well. And now we're going to turn to Jian for Now in Busan. Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Yes, it is indeed a beautiful Monday. So our text topic today, what is something that you have stopped or quit doing and you really feel good or glad about it?
I'm still trying, but I quit subscribing the food delivery app services.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, is there a reason?
I feel like I should probably cook more at home.
So how many times per week were you ordering versus now?
Right, that's the thing. I didn't realize I've been ordering like probably 4 or 5 times a week, which is too much, I think. And now I'm like once or less than that, maybe a week.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So that's only twice a month. And I can feel that I'm eating way more healthier than before.
Oh, well, that's a good one. That is something I guess we can all kind of cut down on, right? So thanks for sharing.
Of course.
Well, there was some big news from the UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting here in Busan. What happened?
Right. That's right. We've been following this story over the past few days, and now it's official. UNESCO has approved the second phase expansion of Korea's tidal flats World Heritage Site. New tidal flats in Seosan, Yeosu, Goheung, and Muan have now been added to the listing.
Yes, so this is good news. What made UNESCO decide to expand the site?
UNESCO says Korea's tidal flats are internationally important for biodiversity. They provide critical habitat for endangered species and millions of migratory birds along the East Asian Australasian flyway.
Yes, and what does this expansion actually mean?
It expands the protected World Heritage Area and strengthens conservation of the Yellow Sea ecosystem. Korea now has 17 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including 2 natural heritage sites.
Right. And so this UNESCO gathering has attracted many visitors, I hear, right?
The Korea Pavilion has been very popular. More than 72,000 people visited during its first 6 days, enjoying cultural performances, exhibitions, and interactive programs.
Right. So is this expected to stay busy?
It certainly does. Officials expect visitor numbers to keep growing through Wednesday, July 29th, which is the final day of the event, as more tourists arrive during the summer vacation season.
Right. So we're hoping for continued success for the event and, of course, successful conclusion.
Indeed.
Moving on to our next story, though, police have made new developments in the fatal motel incident involving foreign sailors. What is is the latest?
Police have booked 5 people on illegal confinement charges, including representatives from a shipping agency and a security company, as well as the motel owner. They're investigating whether the sailors were being unlawfully held before the accident.
What exactly happened on the day of the accident or incident?
So the 20 Indonesian sailors were staying at a motel while waiting to board on a Chinese fishing vessel after its arrival was delayed. Police say their room doors were locked from the outside and security guards were monitoring the hallway.
And then what happened?
2 sailors tried to escape by tying together bed sheets and climbing out of an 8th floor window, and they fell about 21 meters. 1 man died and the other suffered serious injuries.
Yes, and why do investigators think they tried to escape?
Well, police believe they were trying to remain in Korea and find work instead of boarding the ship. However, human rights groups argue the sailors were under excessive control and may have been victims of an abusive recruitment system.
Well, I'm sure that this has raised broader concerns then.
That's right. The case has drawn attention to how some foreign sailors are managed before boarding ships in Korea. Authorities are now expanding their investigation into possible illegal confinement and other human rights violations.
Yes. Well, thank you for reporting on this story so we have a better idea of what happened. Next up, several districts here in Busan are competing to host the new Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries, the headquarters. What's happening here?
3 districts, Donggu District, Junggu District, and Gangseok District, plan to submit proposals to host the ministry's new permanent headquarters. The ministry recently asked local governments to nominate potential sites.
Yes. Well, let's first talk about Donggu District. Why does this proposal stand out?
Donggu District says it's already home to several major maritime organizations and could create a stronger maritime cluster. Officials also say construction could move quickly because the site already has the necessary infrastructure.
Well, what about Junggu District?
Junggu District says it's highlighting its historical connection to Korea's port industry. It has proposed a site near the coastal passenger terminal and says the area is already home to many shipping and port-related companies.
Right, and also we need to talk about Gangseok District as well.
Gangseok District says it has more room for large-scale development than the old downtown areas. It also points to its convenient access to Busan New Port, the future Gadokdo International Airport, and also Gimhae International Airport.
So those are the 3 districts in the running. When will the final location be decided?
The ministry will receive proposals through the end of this month and plans to announce the final site in early August. The new headquarters is expected to be completed by 2030.
All right, so we'll await word on this, report that to you, the listeners. And next up, let's talk about Busan's beaches, which are getting packed as the peak summer vacation season really begins. How busy has it been?
It's been a very busy weekend. What feels like temperatures above 33 degrees Celsius, thousands of people headed to Busan's beaches to cool off.
Yes, and which beaches attracted the biggest crowds?
Well, Haeundae was the busiest, drawing nearly 247,000 visitors on Saturday alone. Gwanghani welcomed more than 77,000 people, while Songjeong Beach attracted over 42,000 visitors.
So what are people doing at these beaches?
Many families enjoyed swimming, walking along the shore, and taking photos by the sea. At Songjeong Beach, surfers also took advantage of the waves throughout the day.
And I hear that the beaches stayed busy after sunset as well, right?
Yes, Gwanghani Beach drew large nighttime crowds for a Pokemon-themed drone show, making one of the weekend's biggest attractions.
Well, and the heat. The heat is not letting up, right?
Not at all. Busan remains under a heat wave warning, and tropical nights have continued for 7 straight nights, with overnight temperatures staying above 25 degrees Celsius.
Yes. Once again, well, we love our beaches, and now we know what people are doing there. Moving on to this story, a visiting American family got some unexpected help from Busan police this week. So
that's right.
What happened?
A U.S. tourist accidentally left a wallet containing more than $3,000 and smartphone in a taxi after getting out near Haeundae Beach.
Okay, so since we're talking about it, I'm hoping that the items were found?
Yes, that's right. A police team specializing in foreign visitors spoke with the family in English and gathered details about the taxi ride. Officers then contacted the taxi company and eventually reached the driver who found the missing items in the backseat.
Ooh, so were the belongings returned safely?
Police arranged for the taxi to return to the family's location, and they were able to recover both the wallet and the smartphone. Officers also helped interpret when the family thanked the driver.
Yes, and does Busan have a special police unit for foreign visitors?
That's correct. Earlier this year, Busan Police created 2 international support teams that patrol major tourist attractions and foreign populated areas while providing assistance to overseas visitors.
Right, and why is this important?
As Busan welcomes more international tourists and hosts major global events, officials say the teams are helping make the city safer and more visitor-friendly.
Indeed. That's a good story to end it on. So wishing you a wonderful Monday. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Jian.
Thank you.
And I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. Here it is. There's congestion on the Dongso overpass from Hwangryong Ramp to Daegum. Also busy on Luno Samsung-daedo from Myeongji underpass to Shino Bridge. There's traffic on Gwanmun-daedo from Pangnam Tunnel to Baegang Tunnel. It's also looking slow on Mandok-daedo from Sukdeung to Deokjeon intersection. It's currently 27 degrees Celsius in Busan under clear skies, but the real field temperature is already at 30. The daytime high will go up to 33 degrees. Busan is under a heat wave impact forecast, a heat wave warning, and a tropical night advisory. Across the nation, showers forecast for parts of the capital area and Gangwon. But the southern regions are under a heat wave with extreme heat forecast for parts of Jeonnam, Daegu, and Gyeongbuk, with the real field temperatures in some areas going up to 38 degrees Celsius. Please stay indoors as much as possible and immediately stop working when heat wave warnings are in effect. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for the morning brief. President Lee Jae-myung arrives in Brazil after AI-focused trip in San Francisco. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in Brazil after wrapping up a 2-day visit to San Francisco, the U.S., where he focused on promoting artificial intelligence or AI cooperation. Heat-related fatalities reported as grave heat warning issued in southern region. Multiple suspected heat-related fatalities have been reported as the country was under a sweltering heat wave over the weekend, including a severe warning or heat warning in parts of Jeonnam, Gyeongbuk, Gyeongnam, and Daegu. Four tidal flats added to UNESCO World Heritage List. The UNESCO World Heritage Committee has decided to expand the boundaries of South Korea's tidal flats on its World Heritage List to those in Seosan in Chungnam, and Goheung, Busan, and Yeosu in Jeonnam. Russia preparing to receive another 30,000 North Korean troops. Russia is preparing to bring in an additional 30,000 North Korean troops to its war against Ukraine, with Pyongyang also planning to send more missile launchers to Moscow to support the war effort, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Berlin Pride van and knife rampage suspect dead. A man suspected of driving a van into a crowd near Berlin's Pride Festival and going on a knife attack in an Islamic terror attack has been shot dead by police, according to German officials. And this was the Morning Brief. You're listening to hour number 1 of Morning Wave in Busan. We're now joined by Haley for top stories. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good weekend.
I did.
Good.
More or less.
Yeah,
Saw
it was
enough
hot.
heat-fueled haze. Yeah.
Indeed. We're going to start with our top stories. We're going to go to President Lee Jae-myung's diplomatic trip. So he made a San Francisco declaration, right?
That's right. So as you mentioned, President Lee Jae-myung has landed in Brazil for the South American leg of his trip. But for now, we are going to go to San Francisco at the AI summit, where he announced South Korea's vision in the AI era, dubbed the San Francisco Declaration. So President Lee announced that South Korea will become an irreplaceable key nation in this global AI supply network based on the country's top-of-the-line memory chips and production capability. He also referred to the large-scale investments plans that the government announced earlier or last month and said that the country will be a global AI testbed and production platform. President Lee also declared that South Korea will take on a role as an AI global hub that can bridge the gap between developed and developing countries, adding that the benefits of AI cannot stay within only certain groups or certain classes.
Right, so that's a declaration. He's also met with several key big tech CEOs.
He did. So he met with Anthropic's CEO and asked for his special attention on South Korea's AI sector. Also, the president met with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, and here Huang unveiled a series of large corporate projects, especially with South Korean tech firms, including a $500 billion business partnership with SK Group.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, South Korean global tech firms announced big cooperative projects.
They did. So South Korean global tech giants agreed to together pursue a series of cooperation projects that together add up to $950 billion. So Cheongwade said that these include a long-term deal under which SK Group will supply South Korean groups, and including SK, will supply $700 billion worth of high-performance chips to global tech firms, including NVIDIA. So at this forum or at this meeting, we had South Korean conglomerates like Samsung Electronics chair Lee Jae-yong and South Korea's SK firm chair Choi Tae-won, who met with OpenAI chief executive officer Sam Altman and again NVIDIA's Jensen Huang and others. And during the meeting, these companies also agreed to pursue joint investments in large-scale AI data centers, and that'll have a combined capacity of 5 gigawatts and 2 million graphic processing units, or GPUs.
That's right. So that's part of the story, the diplomatic trip. We are going to move on to another story entirely. This is domestic. The Justice Minister is looking to resign.
In a rather unconventional way, though, we usually kind of hear a top-down, very organized or orchestrated comment from Cheongwade and or the Justice Ministry or any ministry. However, Justice Minister Chung Sung-ho has told the press that he has long told Cheongwade aides that he wants to step down. But he actually apparently didn't directly tell the president, and that raises questions as to whether he has officially handed in his resignation or not. So Chung has recently told the press that he has, quote, no more will to go on with his work. And reports say that the Justice Minister has conveyed to the president via the aides that he wants to resign, citing health reasons and other reasons. The ministry, when it was asked by the press, has said that the minister has repeatedly said this and didn't really say anything particular recently about stepping down.
But this comes as the Justice Ministry is undergoing major reforms.
Which is why the timing is particularly conspicuous. So this is regarding the abolishment of the prosecution and in its place opening up the Serious Crimes Investigation Agency that's supposed to launch this coming October. So Chung has actually shown a slight difference in opinion or tone with the ruling Democratic Party. Their DP pushed reform initiative and said that a more thorough discussion may be necessary. He's also expressed concerns about potential side effects and called for a need for supplementary investigations or measures to prevent even a 1% chance at injustice.
And actually, as this is unfolding, the DP announced its revisions to the Criminal Procedure Act, right?
They did. So these are the revisions to the reforms to the Criminal Procedure Act. And the DP on Friday said that its party position includes abolishing the prosecution's rights to supplementary investigation. That includes, in Korean, 검사, 보완수사권 폐지, but also expand protection measures in detail for victims via establishing a dedicated department within the Serious Crimes Investigations Agency. Also for crimes against minority groups or the marginalized, including women, children, sexual crimes, stalking, and abuse against those who have disabilities or the elderly, all such cases will be passed in principle on to the prosecution. The prosecution and the Special Judicial Police will also be required to further cooperate under these revisions.
Well, let's also talk about the opposition People Power Party. It is on attack mode.
So they are pointing to Jung Song-ho's resignation or intention for resignation as the start of, quote, the Lee Jae-myung administration's lame duck phase. PPP's Fair Jang Dong-hyuk wrote on social media that Jung Song-ho resignation is the last conscientious act by someone who is, quote, watching a crime scene unfold. The opposition party also criticized the DP's reforms as a loss by the administration and an absolute victory by hardliners within the ruling party.
All right. And now we're going to turn to what I referred to at the opening. So it began with like the wedding of the century, and then it kind of became the divorce of the century involving SK Group Chair Choi Tae-won and 노소영. It has been finalized, right?
After 9 years.
Yes.
So the divorce that took, again, almost a decade, a Supreme Court decision, and almost 1 trillion won in asset division. So the Seoul High Court on Friday ordered SK Chairman Choi Tae-won to pay his ex-wife, Art Center Nabi's director 노소영, 944 billion won in property or asset division.
Right.
This is actually on top of the 2 billion won alimony payment that the Supreme Court last year ruled that Che had to pay to Do.
Okay, so let's go through this. This is the biggest asset division case in South Korea, but still lower than the 1.38 trillion won that the court actually ordered for Che to pay in 2024. So what were some of the determining issues in reaching this figure?
Right, because this isn't just one divorce proceeding. It is something that could potentially affect other divorces, could set precedents, although this power couple, the assets are unprecedented.
Right.
So we first have to look at the ratio, the proportion. The court determined that Do, the ex-wife, is entitled to 1/3 of the assets, whereas Che, the ex-husband, 2/3. So it wasn't half and half, it's 1/3 versus 2/3.
Okay.
They also saw that Che's SK stocks were up for asset division. And the court also ruled that the division will be paid out in cash, not the shares, because that could affect Choi Tae-won's controls over the company. Che also has to pay an annual interest of 5% on the division from the day after the ruling, which is Saturday, until he makes the asset division payments in full. And because the principal amount is so big at 944 billion won,
Yes.
the interest, we're just talking about the ija, equals 130 million won per day. That's 1억 3천만 원 매일. Which is just to give you a glimpse into how big that money is.
Right, let that settle in. And this is a key aspect of this ruling.
Right, so going back to the shares being up for division, because Che's side had argued that the SK stocks were special property that Che gained independently from inheritance through his father, thereby not an asset that was developed jointly through the marriage. However, the court actually took the opposite view, saying that Do So-young actually had contributed to the growth of his company by maintaining and growing the asset, including the contribution to the household chores, childcare, and various activities that she had as the wife of the group's chairman. However, the court also ruled out No's father, who's former president Do Tae's slush fund of 30 billion won that was given to SK Group as her contribution to the marriage or the group.
Okay. However, the court did give Choi a win of sorts.
It was all about the timing. A bit of one for Choi Tae-won's side was at which point that they were going to determine the value of SK stocks because that had fluctuated wildly. Was that going to be now or June 26th as No had wanted? But they set the date as April 2024. This is when the divorce proceedings officially ended. SK shares had gone up considerably in value since 2024, so he's actually paying a lot less than he would have had it been set for June, for example.
All right. So we'll see if that is the final page. Moving on to some international news. Extreme weather is everywhere. But we're going to begin with the wildfires blazing through Europe.
So Spain and France are seeing wildfires go pretty much out of control, forcing over 300,000 people out of their homes to evacuate.
Yes.
Spain has issued a state of national emergency. It's the first of its kind from fires. France, the interior minister, estimated that the evacuation is probably the biggest evacuation due to non-war related reasons.
So that goes to show you the gravity of the situation. And we often see summertime wildfires in Europe, but what is behind such large-scale blazes?
Unfortunately, we have seen, these records being broken year after year. So a combination of heat wave and climate crisis. So both countries have seen these high winds that do blow the flames out of control. Apparently in Spain, 2 of the 3 major blazes have merged for a massive wildfire. And with the long back-to-back heat waves in Europe that we've been reporting, forests are completely dry, which basically makes kindling for the fires to fuel these wildfires.
Right.
This has also been very dangerous because the fires have been spreading much faster to unanticipated areas. So people who thought they were safe are immediately ordered to evacuate, and they are far less prepared than they would have been.
Yes.
Scientists also say that the climate breakdown is triggering more frequent and more extreme weather events, evaporation of soil and waterways, so just dry ground, fueling wildfires and leading to thousands of excess deaths. Also, Europe is very vulnerable, heating at about twice the global average rate.
Right, so that is Europe. So let's talk about Asia, parts of China and Hong Kong. They've been hit by a typhoon.
Right, because we are not feeling this in Busan. We're actually
Right.
going through a dry rain season. And we
Yes.
also saw some dry thunder and lightning above our skies last night. However, elsewhere in Asia, even in just upper regions in South Korea, it has been wet. So the 12th typhoon of the season, Noor, made landfall in southern China and Hong Kong on Sunday. The wind and heavy rain forced hundreds of thousands of people out of their homes, and hundreds of flights have been canceled. Hong Kong authorities said at least 9 people were injured due to the typhoon-related events. Multiple trees have been uprooted in the Huilai County, and parts of a large scaffolding on a high-rise building collapsed Saturday afternoon in Hong Kong. And this is before the typhoon hit, just from the pre-effects. China has actually been battling a lot of typhoons this season, including Typhoon Bavi, which brought strong winds and rain to eastern China. That led to an evacuation of over 2 million people. That made landfall on July 11th. Another typhoon, Maysak, made landfall on the 3rd of July in southern China.
Right. So once again, extreme weather all around the world. And now we need some updates from the U.S.-Iran situation where attacks seem to have finally paused.
Hopefully that
Yes.
will continue, but finally we are seeing a breakthrough after nearly 2 weeks of attacks as President Donald Trump is said to be weighing diplomatic versus military options. The U.S. has paused strikes on Iran for a second night in a row as top military officials apparently advised Trump to halt his bombing campaign. Also, an Iranian army spokesperson said on Sunday local time that Tehran has also stopped retaliatory attacks in response.
Yes. So the big question is diplomacy back on the table?
It could be.
Oh.
Right. So U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, said that President Trump is giving talks a bit of space, although he is keeping all options, including military options, on the table. Iran and Oman, for its part, has held several rounds of technical talks in Tehran on Friday and Saturday. They're discussing developments in the Strait of Hormuz. So senior officials in the Trump administration apparently reportedly told the president about dwindling, so a decline in the supply of munitions that could hamper a sustained military campaign in the region. Although, again, Ambassador Waltz denied this and said that the U.S. has everything it needs.
In the meantime, the Israeli prime minister is getting ready to travel to the U.S.
He is. So Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to visit the White House on Tuesday, and Israeli prime minister has been a vocal critic of Washington's negotiations with Iran. He wants the U.S. to continue strikes against Tehran, and he's actually the one who played a crucial role in lobbying and convincing President Trump to launch these joint strikes. Netanyahu's office announced that he was going to convene a meeting of his security cabinet forces on Monday before he leaves. The U.S., though, is also engaged in its own diplomacy with the new British Prime Minister, Andy Burnham. They are discussing plans for high-level meetings in London this coming week to discuss the potential for a coalition to protect ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, well, there you have it. Top stories with Haley. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
And we're going to take a song break. So here is our first song. And it is One Way or Another. And this is by Blondie.
Check out some specials and rapidly get lost in the crowd. One way or another, where I can see it all, find out.
Traffic is so bad. Let's see what's on the radio.
Get the latest news and current issues that you need here on Morning Wave in Busan. You're now listening to Morning Wave in Busan with me, Catherine. All right, welcome back, everybody. Before we jump into Dr. Liu, I do want to let you know that for whatever reason, the YouTube streaming has ceased for the time being. So I do apologize for technical issues. We're trying to get back onto the streaming, so please bear with us. And for just one response to the text topic, by the way, it is, what is something you've stopped or quit doing and you feel good about? So we have Master Kitten. Oh, by the way, hello, I haven't seen you in a while. I stopped smoking with others for social relationships. Well, the fact that you stopped smoking, I'm assuming you mean stop smoking altogether, but that's really, really difficult. So congratulations. That was a great decision for your health. All right, now we're going to jump into our next segment. We have Dr. Liu in the house. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, ceased smoking. Yes, that's good for your health because if you calculate the benefits, the cost of benefits, or the money you would be that would be spent on health-related issues after smoking, you can save up to about 500,000 원인가요? 5억 원인가요?
5억 원이요? Really?
It depends upon your age. The younger, the better.
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
That's right. So sooner the better. So yes, stop smoking. Yes, I'm rooting for you.
Yes, we're all rooting for you. Absolutely. And now we're going to jump into our segment. So what are we going to talk about today?
Oh, yes. I want to talk about frequent TV watching in middle age. It's linked to brain shrinkage 20 years later. Oh, yes. Now almost everyone listening has spent a Sunday or a Saturday evening binge watching a drama or movie. I bumped into an article saying frequent TV watching. Yes, sitting on a couch watching TV might actually be shrinking your brain and memory centers. So it was done by USC, University of Southern California.
Yes.
Well, the headline is very dramatic. So it certainly accomplished its job because it caught my attention.
Yes.
As a neurologist, whenever I read this kind of a headline, first thing I like to do is look past the clickbait and examine the actual data. So the answer is no. Watching TV does not instantly shrink your brain.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Nor did the study prove that TV directly causes brain damage.
Really? Because, when I was younger, my mom used to always she used to call it the 바보 box.
Ah, yeah, that's right. It's
the
same
stupid
here.
box.
Yes. 맞아요. 바보 상자, 바보 box. That's
right.
What
she used to call it. Okay. But what does the research show us?
Yeah, the research shows us that it's not true, but it's closely related. The point I want to make is that not all sitting is created equal. So that's the true takeaway of this milestone study.
So not all sitting is created equal. We've been told that. I have heard that. Don't sit for too long. How does this change that message, though?
Oh, well, let me say this one. Instead of just saying, don't sit too long, we need to start adding, pay attention to what your brain is doing while you sit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
that study tracked over 700 adults starting in their late 80s when they were around 53 years old.
Okay.
And they recorded their daily habits, how much TV they watched versus how much they sat at work.
Okay.
Over 20 years later, researchers performed MRI scans on their brains.
And now I'm so curious. What did those MRI scans show after 2 decades?
Okay, frequent TV viewers showed 3 main differences.
Okay.
One is smaller hippocampus.
Oh.
Hippocampus 해마 Many of our listeners might have heard this one. This is the place where our brain's main memory engine. A lot of informations are created and processed. And the second finding that research found is smaller entorhinal cortex. It's really is a technical term. In Korean, it's 띠랑. Well, not many of our listeners might know this one. It's a gateway to memory where Alzheimer's brain changes often occur or begin from that area.
So this is important.
That's a very important part of our brain. The third finding that USC found is more white matter hyperintensities.
Oh, so what is that? I mean, this is so technical.
Yeah, it's so technical.
It's so technical.
That's right.
We need laypersons, you know.
Okay, let's use a city map analogy. Let's say that when we look at our brain with our bare eyes, we can see some area, their color looks a little gray. That's why that area is called gray matter. That's occupying the surface of our brain. And the second part is white matter because when you look at it with your bare eyes, the color of it is pretty white. And so what it tells us that gray matter is the area where informations are processed and created.
Sure.
Yes. And but white matter does is highway system connecting those buildings, which means connecting those informations.
Sure, sure.
Yes, and hyperintensities, 고음형, 검진에서 고음형 많이 나와요. 고음형 나오는 거는 on MRI, as you can see on the right side of the 보이는 radio.
Yes.
White dots are scattered all on across on the brain MRI. That area represents potholes or damaged roads on those highways. You know, signals still travel, but traffic slows down.
Sure.
More potholes means slower processing, balance issues, and high long-term risk of dementia. In Korea, we have very easy access to medical services. Comprehensive medical health checkups are very common.
Sure.
Yeah, some people, of course, pay for them out of their pocket, while others receive them as part of their employee-sponsored health screening programs, 회사 건강검진에서. And during these examinations, radiologists, 영상의학과 의사들이 typically document even minor abnormalities they find on imaging studies.
Okay.
It's one of the most common reasons patients visit my clinic because their brain MRI report mentions what matter changes. 백색질 변성. That's what screening test does. If there's a little tiny, minute abnormalities are found.
Yes.
Radiologists are they mentioned on those kind of abnormal. Actually, it's not abnormality. It's just a small minor. It's like a little mole on our surface, our face, things like that.
So minor, but they mark it.
Yeah, they're marked. That's right, exactly. Yeah. Anyhow, these findings are usually associated with vascular risk factors such as high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, and excessive alcohol consumption.
Okay, so that is why this matters. And thank you for explaining it, for me, the dumbed down version, so I have a better understanding now.
Yeah.
So what is something that we should be knowing about in terms of sitting? Because I'm thinking, isn't sitting? We're in a very comfortable position, but you're saying that it's different whether we're working or watching TV?
That's right, totally different. Because a lot of people who are sitting on a desk, office workers, some have their brain is as healthy as they were young, and some who are sitting on a desk sometimes have these kind of hyperintensity or brain shrinkage issues.
Okay.
The point is metabolic demand follows cognitive engagement. Not all sitting is bad for our brain. Of course, a sedentary lifestyle, which means doing nothing
Yes.
physically, in that case, it's bad for our health.
Yes.
But even if you are sitting on a long time, if you work out, brain workout, I'll call it, like reading and analyzing information,
Okay.
and writing emails and making decisions and solving problems and communicating with your colleagues.
Sure.
Those are mental cognitive workouts. I would call it neurobic. Yes. Let me give you an example. Compare
Okay.
that to a lounging on the sofa watching TV. TV is very entertaining, but mentally is very passive.
Yes.
Information flows at you, but your brain doesn't have to formulate responses or solve complex problems.
Right. So I definitely get it. Like, your brain, we want it to be working and driving basically the car. And if you're just sitting on the couch doing nothing but just staring at the TV, basically just wasting away, not doing much, right?
Exactly.
All right. So what about like streaming or scrolling?
Oh,
Because this is like where I'm sure many people are like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That
Okay.
part, because brain operates on a strict use it or lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Active neuronal pathways stay well nourished. Unused pathways gradually weaken over time.
That's right. So what about the streaming or the scrolling? Like how bad is it for us?
Yes, brain gets pretty quick hits of novelty because a lot of shorts and a lot of small short clips and videos, they are very entertaining.
Yes.
Sometimes I feel cringy. Sometimes I feel really excited because some shorts are sometimes gross, sometimes very challenging, very it pumps up my adrenaline.
Yes.
But those are the things that can be done without doing real cognitive workouts.
Okay.
But however, what I'm saying is what you watch matters.
Oh, the content.
The content.
Okay.
And then if you watch an educational documentary and take notes and ask questions like interactive conversations with
Right.
someone else about that one afterwards, in that case, you've turned passive screen time into an active cognitive workout. You wouldn't talk to the short videos. Of course, in the era of very advanced AI technology, you can
Right.
have a conversation with AI.
True.
But unless you do that, your brain gets stuck with kind of this passive cognitive idle laziness.
So, for example,
Yeah.
if I am watching, let's say, a YouTube video on cooking, but I'm following along and I wouldn't say interacting with the video, but I'm not just sitting there. I'm taking the information and I'm trying to mimic what it's doing, like a recipe. So that would be better than just doom scrolling, right?
Better than it's way better than.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very active exercise of your
Okay.
brain and body as well.
Okay,
So
so
physical exercise is really important.
right. So we talked about like exercising, but can you put it in different terms? Like what is this exercise and what it does to our brain?
Okay, our brain needs some stimulation.
Yes.
That stimulation done by two things. One is cognitive exercise, like reading a book or doing something challenging with your brain, like reading
Sure.
an article and then summarizing and making a report for next day's presentation.
Right.
But that's a mental exercise. But aerobic exercise, physical exercise is really important because, for instance, 30 minutes brisk walk triggers the release of BDNF. I don't want you to remember this one, but scientists call it fertilizer for the brain because
Ooh.
it grows and protects our brain cells. So my
Okay.
favorite way to frame it is physical exercise prepares the fertile soil,
Okay.
but mental exercise plants the seed.
Oh.
We need both.
Right. Okay, absolutely. I get it now. So I like how it's so simple, but maybe you can give us some daily habits, some simple ones that our listeners and our viewers can adopt right now to protect their memory as, we are all aging, right?
Yeah, we're all aging. I can totally relate to that when I after turning 30 or 50, yes. And here are Dr. Ryu's golden habits.
Okay, here we
First
go.
one is move your body daily, at least 30 minutes brisk walk. That will do. And then second is challenge your brain daily. Read, learn a language, new instrument, tackle a complex hobby. Like you said, after watching short gourmet recipe, and then you follow that one.
Yes.
That's a very good way to challenge your brain daily.
Okay.
And the third one is stay socially connected. Real human conversation requires reading, facial cues,
Right.
and language and emotion. It's a dynamic, full-blown workout.
I like that. I do that daily. Every time I have like a guest, including Dr. Yu, I have to read what their face is saying.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, to move your body, to challenge your brain daily, and to be socially connected. Those are Dr. Yu's top 3 tips, right?
Exactly, yes.
All right. So I always ask you for a meaningful quote or something to end it on. So what would you like to say?
Well, before I want to wrap up by quoting some saying, I want to say this one. Well, it's a Monday, maybe one of the dreadful day of the week. But while you are driving to work, please don't drive alone. What I mean by that, not figuratively, but not literally, but figuratively.
Okay.
So let our voices keep you company and turn into our program and share it with the people around you so that you can have them, prevent Alzheimer's from getting Alzheimer's or some other neurodegenerative disorders and talk about what you hear and join us on our live visual radio broadcast. That's one of the best ways to to enhance our brain power.
Yes.
So and also I want you to ask not only how long have I been sitting, but also ask what has my brain been doing while I've been sitting. So it's not just how long you sit. 얼마나 오랫동안 앉아 있는 게 중요한 게 아니라 it's what your brain is doing while you're sitting.
Yes.
앉아 있는 동안 뇌가 무엇을 하고 있는지 말입니다. So when you drive, just don't just gawking at the road and then just not driving. I want you to listen to this show or screaming and learning a new song, and then that's one of the best ways to improve your brain power and preventing other brain-related diseases.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for giving us some great tips and good information. We'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Dr. D.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, it's time to wrap up hour number 1, and we're going to end it on this one. Start Over Again by New Hope Club. Join me back at 8.
Don't you hang up on me. I know you probably think I'm mad. Oh no. But I haven't been to sleep, thinking of ways to get you back. Oh no. And I wonder if I'm in trouble with your older brother. I don't think you even kept my number. If only we could do it all again. Oh no. I wouldn't spill the drink on your dress, wouldn't be so late. I would have paid the bill instead of splitting it 2 ways. Would have told you you look beautiful instead of you look nice. Girl, I couldn't be more stupid even if I tried. Oh, I wish we could start over again. I bet you told your friends it was the worst night of your life. Oh yeah. And I wish I could pretend, but we both know you're probably right. Oh yeah. And if I'm honest, a second date with you is all I wanted. I just hope I haven't gone and blown it. If only we could do this all again. Oh yeah. I wouldn't spill the drink on your dress, wouldn't be so late. I would have paid the bill instead of splitting it 2 ways. Would have told you you look beautiful instead of you look nice. Girl, I couldn't be more stupid even if I tried. I wouldn't spill the drink on your dress, wouldn't
Hi, Professor. This is Catherine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, I can. And so everything looks good right now. Can you count from 1 to 5 for us, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so it sounds nice and clear. What's going to happen is at the top of the hour, I have a short news segment that goes on for 4 minutes. So right after that, we're going to go into our special interview. If you could mute your mic after our test call and then unmute before the interview, our producer, she will remind you through the Zoom chat box. She'll chat with you and ask you to unmute your mic. Is that going to be okay?
Yes, sure. One thing I wanted to let you know is
yes,
my responses may be a little bit long, so feel free to cut the last 2 questions if necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I will keep a keen eye on the time, and I'll let you know when we have to go to the next one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you real soon.
Yeah. Thanks.
빚을 갚을 때입니다. 지금 전화해 주세요. 후원 문의 080-982-0119 국제구조위원회.
모든 지식을 인공지능이 찾아주는 시대. 하지만 정답을 찾는 기술보다 중요한 것은 세상을 새롭게 바라보는 눈입니다. 예술을 경험한다는 것은 익숙한 세상을 새롭게 바라보게 하고, 예술을 교육한다는 것은 인공지능 시대에 맞는 인재를 키우게 합니다. 바다를 품은 자연과 활기찬 도시의 일상이 예술이 되고 영감이 되는 곳. 부산이라는 거대한 도화지 위에서 창의력이 피어나고 상상력이 자라납니다. 예술로 생각이 자라는 도시, 예술도시 부산. 이 캠페인은 창의적 사고로 예술을 키우는 동서대학교 앵커사업단과 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
(30년째) 같은 자리를 지키며 변함없는 행복을 나누는 분식집. 뜨거운 다림질 열기와 함께 깨끗함이 은은하게 실려오는 세탁소. 문구와 장난감 사이로 설렘과 이야기가 가득한 오래된 문방구. 아이부터 어른까지 모두의 발길이 머무는 우리 동네 최고의 추억의 장소입니다. 이렇게 작은 가게 하나하나가 모여 골목에 따뜻한 온기를 만들고, 그 활기찬 온기들이 모여 우리 지역 경제를 든든하고 힘차게 지켜갑니다. 부산의 47만 소상공인이 내일도 힘차게 일어설 수 있도록 우리 모두의 발걸음과 응원을 더해봅니다. 이 캠페인은 지역을 지키는 소상공인을 응원하는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for 8 o'clock Spotlight News. President Lee Jae-myung arrives in Brazil after AI-focused trip in San Francisco. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in Brazil after wrapping up a 2-day visit to San Francisco, California in the U.S., where he focused on promoting artificial intelligence or AI cooperation. During his visit to San Francisco on Friday and Saturday local time, the South Korean president met with the chiefs of 4 global tech giants. Global and South Korean tech giants also agreed to pursue a series of projects worth a combined $950 billion. As part of the South America tour, Lee will first meet with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and the capital Brasilia on Monday, followed by visits to Chile and Argentina. Heat-related fatalities reported as grave heat warning issued in southern region. Multiple suspected heat-related fatalities have been reported as the country was under a sweltering heat wave over the weekend, including a severe heat warning in parts of Jeonnam, Gyeongbuk, Gyeongnam, and Daegu. The fatalities included a 100-year-old woman found dead at a field in Wanju, Jeonbuk province, and a Thai worker in their 30s in Haenam, Jeonnam, Gwangju Special Metropolitan City. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said that a total of 1,301 heat-related patients, including 6 fatalities, have been reported as of Saturday. Four tidal flats added to UNESCO World Heritage List. The UNESCO World Heritage Committee has decided to expand the boundaries of South Korea's tidal flats on its World Heritage List to those in Seosan in Chungnam, and Gohung, Muan, and Yeosu in Jeonnam. The committee supported the expanded inscription of Kepol, Korean tidal flats Phase 2, onto the list of its 48th annual meeting in Busan this Saturday. The first set of 4 Korean tidal flats was inscribed on the UNESCO list in 2021 for its value as one of the world's most important habitats for maintaining biodiversity and as a key stopover for migratory birds. Russia preparing to receive another 30,000 North Korean troops. Russia is preparing to bring in additional 30,000 North Korean troops to its war against Ukraine, with Pyongyang also planning to send more missile launchers to Moscow to support the war effort, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky warned that the potential deployment would pose a threat to other Asian countries within range of the North's missile launches. The claims came after North Korean Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee returned from her visit to Moscow last week, where she met with Russian President Vladimir Putin and her counterpart Sergei Lavrov, raising speculation of a potential visit to Russia by the North's leader Kim Jong-un. Berlin Pride van and knife rampage suspect dead. A man suspected of driving a van into a crowd near Berlin's Pride Festival and going on a knife attack in an Islamic terror attack has been shot dead by police, according to German officials. One woman was killed and 29 others were injured in one of Europe's biggest LGBTQ celebrations on Saturday local time, prompting a massive manhunt. The suspect, a 21-year-old German citizen with Lebanese roots, had a long criminal history and had an affiliation with the Islamic State group in Syria. And this was Spotlight News. This is your special interview on Monday morning. Last week, the Trump administration announced a new round of Section 301 tariffs affecting 60 economies, including South Korea. While Washington has said it will honor its commitment to the 15% tariff ceiling agreed upon with Seoul, the new measures have raised questions about their impact on Korean exporters, the future of Korea-U.S. trade relations, and what they could signal for the future of U.S. trade policy. The latest move also suggests that the Trump administration is relying more heavily on Section 301 as a key tool to address what it sees as unfair trade practices. Today, we'll take a closer look at what these latest developments mean for South Korea and also the future of global trade with the help of an expert. Joining us today is Professor Han Yun-sun, Assistant Professor of Economics at the University of Puget Sound with research interests in international trade and macroeconomics. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Well, to begin with, if you could briefly explain what Section 301, what these tariffs are, and why the Trump administration has introduced them now?
That's a great starting question. So Put simply, Section 301 allows the US government to impose tariffs when it finds that another country is engaging in unfair trade practices that harm US commerce. In March of this year, the US Trade Representative, or USTR, initiated two sets of Section 301 investigations. One of them covered 60 economies, including South Korea, and focused on forced labor. But there's an important distinction here. The US was not investigating whether South Korea was using forced labor to produce goods. Instead, it was asking whether South Korea prohibits the import of goods made with forced labor and whether it actually enforces this prohibition. In June, the USTR, yeah, that's the distinction.
Okay.
In June of this year, the USTR concluded that the 60 economies had failed to impose or effectively enforce those restrictions. So basically, the US argument is that countries without enforced bans on forced labor have an unfair advantage over the US, which has those prohibitions, which puts American businesses at a disadvantage. And this finding provided the legal justification for the new Section 301 tariffs that took effect on Friday. Now, why is the Trump administration doing this now? I think the timing is very important. In February, the Supreme Court ruled that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA, did not give the president the authority to impose tariffs. Since President Trump was no longer able to use IEPA to impose tariffs, he suddenly needed another legal basis. He first turned to Section 122 of the Trade Act and imposed a temporary 10% global tariff. Section 122 has a major limitation, however. Without approval by the Congress, those tariffs can remain in place for only 150 days. So the administration also turned to Section 301, which provides a potentially more durable legal basis for tariffs. But the trade-off is that Section 301 requires an investigation and a formal finding of unfair trade practices before tariffs can be imposed. And this helps explain the sequence we've seen. The Supreme Court decision came in February, and then this USTR initiated these investigations in March, and those investigations have now resulted in this new round of tariffs.
Wow. Thank you for the thorough explanation so we have a better understanding of the why and when and how. So the U.S. says that it remains committed to that 15% tariff ceiling agreed with South Korea. So if you could explain what that agreement means in simple terms and why these latest tariffs have still raised concerns in South Korea.
Of course. So last year, President Trump initially threatened South Korea with a 25% reciprocal tariff. But after negotiations between Korea and the US, the rate was reduced to 15%. In simple terms, the agreement established a 15% as the basic tariff framework for South Korea. For example, for goods covered by the reciprocal tariff, if the existing US tariff was below 15%, the total tariff would be brought up to 15%. If the existing tariff was already 15% or higher, there would be no additional reciprocal tariff. The agreement also reduced U.S. tariffs on Korean cars and car parts to a total of 15%. Now, the new forced labor tariffs that took effect on Friday are actually slightly lower. For South Korea, the U.S. has set the tariff at 12.5%. However, South Korea is still concerned because there is another Section 301 investigation underway. That investigation covers 16 economies, including South Korea, and focuses on what the U.S. calls structural excess capacity and overproduction in manufacturing. So Koreans are concerned that this second investigation could eventually lead to another tariff. And if that tariff were added on top of the 12.5% forced labor tariff, the combined tariff could potentially rise above 15%. And that's why Korean officials have been seeking assurances from Washington and The U.S. government has reaffirmed that it intends to respect the tariff agreement with South Korea and keep Korean tariffs within the agreed 15% framework.
My goodness, it's so convoluted, but thank you for explaining it in easier terms. So let's talk about the impact that these new tariffs could have on the Korean economy. Are there any industries or exporters that could be particularly affected?
Great question. So the new forced labor Section 301 tariffs apply quite broadly. According to the USTR, they cover all products from the countries involved, although there are a number of exemptions. For example, certain raw materials and products that the US cannot easily produce domestically are exempt. And more importantly for Korea, products that are already subject to Section 232 national security tariffs are also exempt. What this means is one of Korea's most important exports, automobiles and auto parts, is not subject to this new Section 301 tariff because cars and car parts, they're already covered by national security tariffs. And under the trade agreement negotiated last year, the U.S. reduced the total tariff on Korean automobiles and auto parts to 15%. So Korean car makers don't face an additional 12.5% forced labor tariff. They continue to face the existing 15% tariff. Semiconductors are a little more complicated. The U.S. has imposed national security tariffs on certain advanced computing chips, and these chips are also exempt from the new Section 301 tariffs. But the U.S. has not yet imposed national security tariffs on all semiconductor imports. And under the trade agreement we negotiated last year, Washington promised that if broader semiconductor tariffs are introduced, Korea would receive treatment no less favorable than treatment offered to another major trading partner with a comparable volume of semiconductor trade. So I think the immediate impact of these forced labor tariffs on Korea's largest export industries may be somewhat limited because some major products are already covered by the national security tariffs and the trade agreement. But the bigger concern is what comes next. We do have a second Section 301 investigation underway, and this investigation focuses on structural overproduction, overcapacity, and the sectors identified by the USTR overlap very closely with Korea's industrial structure. Like they include automobiles, electronics, machinery, semiconductors, ships, and so on. So for Korea, the bigger risk may not be the forced labor tariff that was just imposed. It may be the possibility that this second investigation leads to additional tariffs on precisely the industries that are at the heart of Korea's export economy.
I see. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. More broadly, the professor, in terms of the latest measures and even this investigation that is ongoing, what does that tell us about the direction of U.S. trade policy? Is Section 301 becoming the administration's preferred trade tool, as you mentioned and pointed out, with that Supreme Court decision back in February? Is this their tool of choice?
Absolutely. And I think this goes back to what we were discussing earlier. When President Trump returned to office last year, he wanted to impose tariffs quickly. And IEEPA was a very useful tool for that because it allowed the administration to act almost immediately without conducting investigations. However, after the Supreme Court ruled in February that IEEPA does not give the president this authority to impose tariffs, the administration had to find other legal tools, and I think we're now entering a new phase of U.S. trade policy. Rather than relying on the emergency powers, the administration is trying to build a more durable tariff system using more traditional trade laws like Section 301 and Section 232, which is the national security ground. The tariffs allowed for national security grounds. And the timing is also striking. These new Section 301 tariffs took effect just as the temporary 10% global tariff was expiring. So like the new tariffs help preserve a broad baseline tariff after the administration lost its ability to use IEEPA. And this is also why some critics have questioned whether the forced labor action is primarily about forced labor or whether it is being used as a legal mechanism to rebuild the administration's broader tariff policy.
Yes, yes. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on everything that happens with the upcoming, tariffs that might be coming out due to structural overcapacity. We are going to call it a wrap for our discussion today, but thank you for the thorough explanation and answering of all of our questions. Wishing you the very best. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Once again, this was Professor Han Yun-sun, and we talked about the whole 15% tariffs, now set at 12.5 for certain things, and then we're going to have to keep our eye on the other Section 301 investigation, so we'll keep you abreast of all the latest. This was your special interview. I'll be back with your updated traffic and weather. It is now time for your updated traffic report. There is a cargo truck that has broken down on Namhang Bridge going towards the Songso ramp on the ramp to the Cheonma Tunnel. There's a broken down van on Dongso Overpass going away from the city on Pumniko ramp. It is congested on the top part, the portion of Gwangan Bridge. Also, traffic is building on Jungwangdaero from Songgong Three-Way intersection to Samjeon intersection. It's currently 27 degrees Celsius here in Busan under clear skies. It's going to go up to 35 degrees in some areas. Busan is under a heat wave impact forecast, a heat wave warning, and a tropical night advisory. In other parts of the country, showers forecast for parts of the capital area and Gangwon. But the southern regions under a heat wave with extreme heat forecast for parts of Jeonnam, Daegu, and Gyeongbuk, with the real field temperature going up to 38 degrees. So that means please stay indoors as much as possible and immediately stop working when heat wave warnings are in effect. This was your traffic and weather. It is time for Heritage Trails. Busan has been hosting the UNESCO World Heritage Committee's 48th session, and we have been just traversing the country with Haley, going on our virtual journeys. And this is Heritage Trails. Haley's back.
Good morning.
And we're back on YouTube.
Yes,
just
we
in
are.
case you're wondering.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Yes.
Yeah, don't tempt it. Please
Yes.
keep us on. We're not violating anything, I promise. Yeah.
I don't know. It's so random. Okay. So, what are we covering today?
All right. So let me ask you.
Okay.
Because you have, she also has a really great grasp of the Korean language, but then she really does. I think something you said this morning just made me crack up.
Oh, what did
I
say?
don't know. It was like
Did I
slightly
misspeak?
snarky, and I was like, or spot on. But what if somebody called you like, oh, 캐서린 양반이지? How would you feel?
I don't know.
It's like, what does that mean? Like,
Noble?
yeah, like pinky, like pinky up, like what?
Like, am I noble? Noble?
Yeah, noble, or like 선비. What if somebody calls you? Oh, she's a Catherine
Oh, I'm so
선비.
smart. I'm a scholar. Do I need like the
little hat?
Yeah.
All right. So 양반 and 선비, these are, classes. It's a class and a job from the
Yes.
Joseon dynasty. So one sociologist, a modern sociologist, classified Joseon as a society of 양반, the nobles, but the era or the age of 선비, the scholars. 조선시대는 양반의 사회였고 선비의 시대였다. So we're going to be traveling to virtually to spots that really embody these two major pillars of 양반 and 선비. Because to know about who these were and what they were all about, that's really to know the entire social structure of Joseon.
Okay.
Because what's really interesting is I was thinking about it, and we use the term 양반 a lot. just even in modern day vernacular. So like the expression "speak of the devil." So over the weekend, my mom and I were talking about one of my mom's friends, and we were like, "Oh, 그 이모가 어쩌고 저쩌고 저쩌고." My mom gets a call, and she's like, "아유, 양반은 못 되네. Hello," and it was 그 이모 who had just called her.
I have a question though.
Yeah,
Like, how do we exactly define what is 양반?
exactly. So this is a part of two major classes. So in Joseon, we're going to split it right down the middle. You are either in the class of 양반, the nobles, or versus 천, the commoners, 천민. So if you're in the nobility, you are a free man. And yes, you are a man.
Yes.
And then you could seek public office. But you also had duties of service in terms of military and taxation. You had to pay taxes. So within this yang class, you had 양반 at the very top. So 양반 was the ruling class.
Sure.
So to have this, you had a name. That's all it really, the key aspects is like you had the 성 and the 본 because we're talking about like, you know, 부여 서씨, that's me. 김해 김씨,
Right.
경주, like 전주 이씨. So you had like the origin of where your family's from and then a last name. Landowning class. But then you also had duties.
Yes.
And this is so Korean. So young 양반 men had to start studying for the 과거, the civil service sector exam around the ages of 15 or 16. So this, like, what does that remind you of, though? The CSATs, if you will.
Yes.
And then, though, unlike the CSATs, maybe like the 고시, the average time it took for them to study and pass the 과거, a decade.
10 years?
That's why you started so young. Because, I mean, you know, then you get your job by mid-20s. Yikes, right? And this was also an expensive test. And this kind of made me, as a Busanite, like, oh, again, some things don't change because that test was in Hanyang, modern-day Seoul. So you had to travel up.
Just to sit for the test.
Just to sit for the test. And if you're taking this every year for 10 years, yikes. And so one 19th century Gyeongsang Dansong scholar set off with an entire cow that he sold off and to finance his exam, not even the exam, but the travels to the exam. Also, Joseon was a very Confucian, male-centric society. Rules dictated that men and women were not even to use, you know, same hangers for their clothes. 남녀 칠세 부동석. And the wife was to be subservient to her husband. So that is what Joseon society was all about.
Okay, thank goodness we're in the modern era. So these social rules are more or less gone, but there are still parts where we can see such traditions. They're held in place.
Right. And then, I don't know, you might not want to hang your husband's clothes in the same closet as yours just because your clothes are better. I don't know. That might be for a whole different reason.
We have separate closets, by the way.
Yes, right. But that brings us to the historical villages. UNESCO listed Andong's Haue village and Gyeongju's Yangdong villages. So they're both in the southeastern part of the country in Gyeongbuk where this Yangban culture flourished.
Yes.
So UNESCO says these villages' layout and location, they're sheltered by forested mountains and they face out onto a river. As you can see, that's the Haue village. You see the greenery and the river. They reflect the distinctive aristocratic Confucian culture of early parts of Joseon dynasty. They're located in these specific sites to provide both physical and spiritual nourishment from the landscape.
I like spiritual nourishment. So we need to know more about that's such a famous photo. But anyways, of the villages. Yes.
Right. So Yangdong-maul in Gyeongju, they had 50 tiled roofed houses. So 기와집. So these were for the 양반.
Yes.
And 110 straw roofed houses, 토갓집 for the commoners. And you see that's Yangdong. So you kind of see the geographic distribution. The 양반, the nobles' homes were kind of on the upper parts of the hill.
Yes.
So they had a better view. And then the commoners' houses more on the lower grounds. The physical embodiment of the hierarchy. And also these Yangban homes were clans. So these were homes to the Yeogang Isi clan and Wolseong Sonsi clan on the mountain ranges of Seolchang Mountain. So what's unique is that people actually still live there. This is a living and breathing village as kind of a live museum, if you will.
Yes, yes. Well, another UNESCO-listed village is Andong's Haohae village, right?
Right, so this is home to the Pungsan Yu clan along the Nakdong River. The village is famous for not only just the structure, the homes, but also the folk traditions, especially the 하회탈, right? Official title is, all right, gotta take a deep breath, 하회 별신 굿탈놀이. So, yes, it is what it is. We do see the famous 하회탈 and the 탈춤, another UNESCO list of this time intangible heritage items. So what these 하회탈, because we think that one mask is 하회탈, but this is actually a series of 11 masks.
Yes.
So the one we see on our NotTube stream is, I believe, the 양반 탈, so the nobles' masks, but it also had the 각시탈, the bridal or the wife's mask, the 선비, the scholar, but also to the lower classes like 백정, for example, the butcher, who was considered to be even lower than the common class.
Yes.
So what these were, if you think about like the Western European courts, the court had a jester or jesters who was allowed to poke fun at the king.
Right.
So these were used as a form of satire. They were making fun of the Yangban classes, even the king, and kind of in sort of a freedom of press almost-esque manner, they were allowed to do so because it was humor. So this village, also going back to the Haohae village, is famous for its global, very high-profile visitors. The most well-known was Queen Elizabeth II. She visited back in 1999. So, you know, at first people thought it was odd, but when the queen passed in 2022, they actually had a memorial site for her in Andong. So initially people are like, why randomly in the middle of Gyeongbuk?
Right.
Because they have fond memories of her. Also, both Bushes. Presidents George Bush and George W. Bush visited Andong villages as well.
That's right. So these were the two UNESCO-listed traditional villages, but another aspect that we are covering today is Seowon.
Because Joseon was the society of nobles, but the age of scholars, 선비, meaning the scholarly pursuits were extremely valued and important. So the scholars dedicated themselves to learning Confucianism or Neo-Confucianism and discussing the values. And maybe not quite universities, but these perhaps community colleges. But these sites were called Seowon. So Seowon, according to UNESCO, they officially named them the Neo-Confucian Academies. Learning, veneration of scholars, and interaction with the environment were essential functions of Seowon. So both for Yangban and scholars, you see that nature, connection to nature was key. Maybe this is why like you're supposed to get up and like stretch and look at the forest. That's been the tradition. Situated near mountains and again, water sources, they favored the appreciation of nature and cultivation of the mind and the body. The pavilion-style buildings, meaning open walls, were intended to facilitate connection to landscape. And they show a historical process in which Neo-Confucianism from China was adapted to Korea. So I'm going to go through the list of 8 of them. 소수서원, 남계서원, 옥산, 도산, 피람, 도동, 병산, 무성, and Honam. So a lot of them are in the southern to central area, so kind of outside of Seoul because, again, connection to nature.
So what's a notable feature of these Seowons?
Right, so I'm going to correct myself. Not 8, 9 Seowons are intact in the original form, and that'll be a key aspect to be a UNESCO heritage asset. It has to have been very well preserved. And what's notable is that these universities were not very centralized official forms because in the Joseon era, the central government-ran universities were 성균관 and then 향교. So these were established by local intellectuals. They were called 사림, also served as altars to honor and hold 제사, the rituals for other deceased scholars.
Yes, and what exactly was studied here?
So this was Neo-Confucianism, 성리학. So it was originated in China, of course, Confucius. But then in Joseon, it took its own form. Prominent scholars include 퇴계 이황, and people studied 성리학 to follow basic decency, norms of society, form social relationships, and study the universe. So 이황 said, scholars who search for meaning and knowledge, they do not enjoy loudly debating in the mundane world. They want to take their books to a quiet field, to a serene waterfront to build character, learn the ways of the world, and find joy in these endeavors. So this is why when you say like someone is 선비,
yes,
it's not just that that person is smart.
Right.
That person kind of has that like a term is like 유유자적. He or she, mostly he, because 선비, they're kind of removed from the material
Right.
world. They're like only in the book. So sometimes it's not used so positively, like you're only book smart,
Right.
maybe not quite the streets. But this is what separated Chinese Confucian scholars from Korean Confucian scholars, because Chinese Confucian academies were academies. They're schools for exams.
Yes.
So the common thread of the both villages, Yangban villages and Seowons, they formed a fabric of Joseon society. So maybe these are the threads, and to preserve the minds and practices of nobles and scholars. So fascinating thing about cultural heritage, though, is because you don't only see the remains. Yes, we see the beautiful preservation of the walls, the roofs, the architecture.
Right.
But they also serve as a window into the ways of life, the people's philosophy. So how these carry down to the modern world and how we describe people 양반 or 선비 in the modern world is a way for us to sort of preserve that spirit from the Joseon era all the way to the Republic of Korea.
Yes, yes. So another fascinating journey through Korean history with heritage trails. We look forward to tomorrow as well. So thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
All right, we are ready for a song break. So this is 너의 의미 by IU.
도대체 넌 나에겐 누구냐? Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, some of you a little confused, maybe. There are issues with NutTube and the streaming, but we're back on. So let's continue with our next segment. Usually we have Buzz Breakdown. Vasana's going to be away for 3 weeks, so for the next 3 weeks, we have a brand new person joining us in the studio for the AI breakdown. So let's welcome him and let's say hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. If you could begin by introducing yourself to our waivers and telling them what this segment is all about.
Okay, my name is Jay Choi. I spent 17 years teaching and researching at the university, and now I work independently on Vision AI, especially for medical applications and pathogen detection. In the AI breakdown, we break down the latest AI news and explain what it means for our waivers and for our everyday lives.
Wow, so glad to have you on board. So,
Thank you.
What is our topic for today? What are we talking about?
AI is suddenly everywhere. It writes reports. It makes pictures. It answers customer calls.
Right.
It may even decide who gets a job or loan. So today we will talk about something called Korea's AI Basic Law.
Yes.
Act.
And so what exactly is this AI Basic Act? We've heard about it, we've touched upon it, but we want to get into the nitty-gritty. So what is it?
Yeah, it is basically Korea's rule book for AI. The idea is simple. Help AI grow, but do not let it run without rules.
So it's kind of like, let's go, full stop ahead, but we got to be careful.
Exactly. The
Yes.
government wants to support AI companies, technology, and workers. But when AI can affect people's safety, rights, or future, companies must take more responsibility.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot kind of near the brake, near it, right?
Yeah, that is a good way to put it. The hard part is knowing when to speed up and when to slow down.
Okay, so in terms of AI-made content, doesn't it need a label now? Right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
AI Basic Act, it requires the watermark.
The watermark, right? So if I use, for example, ChatGPT, and then I got some help with a report at work, do I need to necessarily put a label like, "Hello, AI was here. I got some help"? Not in that regard.
Not necessarily. The law is not coming after office workers or students or like normal people and their PowerPoint slides.
Oh, thank goodness. Yes, that is a relief. So what does it mean then?
The legal duty mainly applies to the companies to provide AI products or services. So if you use AI to help write an internal report or homework, the law does not normally require you to add a watermark.
Okay, so if I'm a layperson, just writing an internal report once again, maybe not necessarily add the watermark, so I'm kind of safe?
Yeah, legally, probably yes, but your company or school may have its own rules.
Okay, so I guess whatever it is, we're going to have to follow, whether it's a company or a school, right?
Exactly. Your company or school may ask you to report AI use. It may also ban you from putting customer data, business secrets, or private files into public AI tools.
Oh, okay. So the bigger issue may not be the AI label itself, but what I enter into the AI, right?
Right. That can be much more serious.
Ooh. Then I need to ask, where will regular, people like me actually kind of notice this law, or how does this apply to us?
Yeah, one clear area is AI-made content.
Okay.
Imagine watching a video of a famous person saying something shocking. It looks real, it sounds real, but the person never said it.
So are we talking about like deep fake?
Exactly. The law tries to make it easier for people to know when a picture, voice, or video was made or changed by AI.
So if it has an AI label, does it make it necessarily fake?
No, that is important. AI made does not always mean false.
Okay.
AI is used in films, advertising, school materials, art, and entertainment.
So the label does not necessarily mean, oh, this is all fake. It's a lie. It doesn't mean that, right?
Right. It only says AI was involved, so look carefully.
However, if there is no label, I don't know, can I trust it?
Not automatically. A
Right.
label can be removed, or some people may ignore the rules.
Right.
The label helps, but it is not a magic shield against the fake news.
All right. So let's talk about something a little bit more personal. What if, for example, I apply for a job and an AI system rejects me before a human being even lays eyes on my application?
That is where high impact AI comes in.
Okay, so tell us about high impact AI because it sounds a little scary just listening to it.
It means AI used in important areas such as hiring, loans, healthcare, education, or public services. So these systems can affect a person's job, money, health, or future.
Okay. So, for example, if we're talking about, like, let's say a shopping app recommending shoes, that is one thing. But an AI system deciding whether I get, like, I don't know, like a home loan, a mortgage or not, that is a completely different story.
Exactly. In high impact areas, saying we used AI is not enough. The company or public agency needs stronger safety steps. It must manage risks, keep human control, and protect users.
Yes. So let's say the bank rejects my loan. It cannot just say, hey, sorry, the computer said no, so you don't get the loan.
That is the point. AI can help with the decision, but the bank still has responsibility.
So that's one part of it. So let's say another example where I'm at a hospital and then suppose AI reads my x-ray and gets it wrong.
AI can help doctor, but it should not replace careful human review. So when the decision is important, a person must check it, and someone must be responsible if things go wrong.
Oh, I would hope so, especially when it comes to health and things like
Yeah.
that. So when we talk about this overall, is Korea doing something unusual here, or are other countries making similar rules or laws?
Many countries are facing the same problem, but they are choosing different paths.
Such as, give us some examples.
Yeah, Europe puts more weight on safety and basic rights.
Okay.
It has stronger rules for high-risk AI. The United States puts more weight on innovation and business growth.
Okay.
China combines AI growth with stronger government and platform control.
Oh, so for each country or region, it's a little different. The U.S. Likes to go full speed ahead, gas pedal, maybe Europe, keeping a close eye on the brake pedal. And then with China, if we can further that analogy, keeping a firm hand on the steering wheels, right?
Yeah, that is simplified, but yes, it gives the general picture.
So what about Korea? Where is Korea sitting? Is it somewhere kind of like in the middle of all that?
Yeah, you can say that, but being in the middle does not automatically mean being right.
That's so true. So tell us a little bit more.
If the rules are too weak, people may not be protected. If they are too heavy, smaller companies may struggle.
True.
So we should not say Korea has found the perfect answer, but we need to see how the law works in a real life.
Okay, and that's why we want to bring this a little closer to home. So many of our listeners, they live in Busan. What might people in Busan actually notice?
Yeah, AI could be used in public services, traffic, tourism, welfare, ports, and disaster warnings. For example, an older person may ask an AI service about welfare support.
However, question here, what if that AI gives a wrong answer, the wrong answer?
Wrong
What
answer,
happens?
yeah. Then the human workers should be able to check it and fix it. The government cannot simply say, well, that was the AI's answer.
And the thing is, I was thinking, like, how do you even, like, argue with a chatbot? That would be so difficult, right?
It takes forever.
Yes.
Yeah, AI could also help predict traffic jams, accidents, floods, or other risks. For tourists, it could help in different languages.
Sure.
Important logistics, it could help predict delays or equipment problems.
So it does seem that Busan has a real chance here then.
Yes, but on your chance. Adding AI does not automatically make a city smarter. The information must be correct, personal data must be safe, and responsibility must be clear.
So obviously putting the word AI or, smart doesn't make it or the city smart, right?
Exactly. Sometimes it just gives an old problem a new name.
Well, I think the question many people are really wondering about is if AI can write reports and answer customers and read x-rays and help with hiring and maybe, determining whether a person gets a loan or not, won't more jobs disappear?
Some tasks will disappear. Some jobs may also shrink. Simple and repeated work is likely to feel the pressure first.
Right. So the big question, should office workers be worried?
Yeah, they should pay attention but not panic.
Okay.
In many cases, AI may change part of a job instead of removing the whole job.
So give us an example.
Yeah, AI may write the first draft of the meeting. Yeah, but a worker still needs to check the facts, fix mistakes, and decide what matters. AI may answer simple customer questions.
Okay.
But people may still be needed for angry customers, difficult cases, or sensitive problems.
Right. So people who use AI might replace people who don't use AI?
That may happen in some workplaces.
Okay.
But it is too easy to tell workers just learn AI and survive.
Right, because not everyone gets the same chance or opportunity to learn, right?
Right. Workers need training. Companies must help staffs move into new roles. Government support is also important. If AI makes companies richer but leaves many workers behind, that is not a successful change.
So the real question is not only how much did the AI industry grow?
Right. We also need to ask, are people safer? Can workers adapt? And are the benefits shared fairly?
Okay, so I'm actually going to ask you to kind of conclude and take us out for this segment. So give us the overall impression of the AI Basic Act. It's not simply just a law to stop AI, right?
Oh, yes. It is for helping AI growth. But the thing is, we should control.
Yes.
Yeah. Put some brake. Yeah. If it goes too fast, then, government needs to put on the brake.
Slow down.
Yes. So it is a good law, I think, but, we have to see it. How it works in the liberal life. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for our very segment together. And of course, we look forward to next week as well. So thank you for coming in, Jay.
Thank you.
Everybody, once again, this was Jay Choi once again with our... I don't want to say replacement for Vasana. Vasana, you cannot be replaced. However, in lieu of Vasana joining us, he will be here for the next 2 weeks after this show. All right, so today we talked about a variety of issues, including, of course, like the divorce of the century, the settlement case in that divorce, also about what's happening abroad, and of course, the extreme weather. We went through heritage trails, and of course, we have much more for you tomorrow. Once again, apologizing for the inconveniences of the NoTube streaming today. We're going to end it with this one. 오늘도 내 하루는 by Jay Yuna. So have a wonderful Monday. Join us tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
스며시 다가와서 생각지도 못한 장난을 치곤 해. 왜 하필 오늘 아침에 아무 준비도 없이 내 방을 나왔는지 한참을 고민해. It's not about something I can't understand. 생각지도 못한 하루 보낸 내게 노래를 불러줘. song 느낄 수 있게 your love. Can't paint the world then 때문에 누군가 살면 좋겠어 수많은 질문에 정답을 알려줘 지금 이 나이쯤엔 근사한 어른일 줄 알았는데 내 마음 하나 알지 못해 헤매이는 내 모습이 참 안심해 It's not about something I can't understand 생각지도 못한 하루를 보낸 내게 노래를 불러줘 song 느낄 수 있게 Your love, 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 love